Greetings, everyone. From today, we are going to start chapter 4, which is quadratic equation. Before starting this chapter, let quickly revise something that we have studied earlier. In chapter 2, we learned about quadratic polynomial. Remember quadratic polynomial? A quadratic polynomial is a polynomial whose highest degree or highest power is 2. In general form, quadratic polynomial was written as ax square plus bx plus c. Okay? Where a, b, and c are real number and a cannot be equal to 0. Okay? Now look carefully at chapter's heading. Our chapter heading is quadratic equation. Our chapter heading is quadratic equation. We already know the meaning of quadratic. Quadratic means the power must be 2. The power must be 2. If the power is 1, for example, if I have a equation bx plus c, here the power is 1. So it's a linear equation. If the power is 3, then it's a cubic equation. If the power is 2, then it's a quadratic equation. Okay, so we know what is the meaning of quadratic. Now I am going to tell you what is actually meaning of equation. Okay, so an equation is formed when we make an expression or polynomial equal to something. When we make an expression or polynomial equal to something. So in this chapter now, we mainly deal with equations that are equal to 0. So what was this? This is quadratic polynomial. Which we have done in chapter 2. In this chapter we are learning what quadratic equation. And as I told you in the definition, what is an equation? When we put an expression or a polynomial equal to something. And in this chapter we will mainly put it equal to 0. So the same quadratic polynomial, when it is written in this manner, it's become quadratic equation. The moment we put an equal sign and make the polynomial equal to 0, it becomes an equation. Since the highest power of the variable is still 2, this will known as quadratic equation. So from this we can write the definition. Write down: a quadratic equation is an equation whose highest power or degree of the variable is 2. What was the general form again? For quadratic polynomial, ax square plus bx plus c. When we write this expression equal to what? 0, it become what? Quadratic equation. So what will be the general form? The general form is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real number and a should not equal to 0. B and c can be 0, but a should not equal to 0. Now, why must a not be equal to 0? Listen, suppose suppose what is my general form here? My general form is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. I told you a should not equal to 0. B and c can be 0. B and c can be 0. Why? Let's just put a is equal to 0 one time here. Okay, if I put a is equal to 0, so bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay, this whole thing will become what? 0 plus bx plus c is equal to 0. If you see carefully here, then the term ax square becomes 0 and the equation become bx plus c is equal to 0. Now observe the highest power of the variable. It is 1, not 2. It is 1, not 2. That means it is no longer an quadratic equation. Instead it has become a linear equation. Therefore, a can never be 0 in a quadratic equation. Understood? B and C can be 0. B and C can be 0. Okay? For example, if I write like this, na, ax square is equal to 0. Just ax square is equal to 0. Does it's a valid statement? Yes. It's a quadratic equation where B is equal to 0 and C is also equal to 0. Understood? Even though only the x squared term is present, the highest power of the variable is still 2. Therefore, it is still a quadratic equation. So please remember, it cannot be 0. B and C may be 0. Understood?